Few among us have the luck to come up with a brilliant idea that will make us $1 billion. Fewer have the actual opportunity and resources to pursue that idea, and there are fewer still who actually manage to pull it off and make it a success. When Luminar Technologies debuted on the stock market this Thursday, it hit $7.8 billion, making its founder, Austin Russell, the world's newest and youngest self-made billionaire at the age of 25. But what is Luminar, and how did Austin Russell manage to make such a killing from it? Everything you need to know is right here. Welcome back to our channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Austin Russell founded Luminar, a self-driving car startup, at the age of 17 and is now a prodigy of autonomous vehicles and the youngest self-made billionaire in the world. As a teenager, Russell started thinking about creating better 3D imaging technology while designing augmented reality and wireless power transmission projects at Beckman Laser Institute at the University of California. Russell founded Luminar in high school, but he started real work on it after dropping out at the age of 18 from Stanford University, where he was studying applied physics. He did so with the help of a fellowship sponsored by Peter Thiel, from which he got $100,000. Thiel is a Silicon Valley tycoon who also invested in Facebook. His fellowship aims to give young people $100,000 so they can go ahead and build something instead of sitting in a classroom, and Austin certainly built something. LiDAR was an early fixation for him. He looked at what companies like Velodyne were doing with laser sensors, but he wanted to make a completely different approach so they could be cheap and accessible. In keeping with that, he founded Luminar Technologies, which makes LiDAR scanners that use lasers to give autonomous cars a three-dimensional view of the road and what's around them. They pretty much operated under the radar for about 5 years, with Russell working on an advanced LiDAR sensor and trying to make it work and be safe. Having hit their key performance targets, Luminar emerged from its shell slowly, with plans to create 10,000 automotive LiDAR units in 2017 at their Orlando factory. In 2018, they scaled up production to hundreds of thousands of these devices. Soon enough, they started making deals with Volvo to supply them with LiDAR units and partnered up with Mobileye, Intel's latest acquisition, and a truck company called Daimler. So, needless to say, the demand for Luminar's technology is pretty high. It has a world of benefits that everyone wants in. Well, everyone except Elon Musk. In fact, the Tesla CEO called LiDAR a fool's errand and said he has no plans to add it to his electric vehicles. Speaking to Forbes, Musk called LiDARs expensive sensors that are unnecessary and said they won't last very long. While he may not be completely wrong, Luminar's tech is still the best in the market as far as laser detection to aid self-driving cars go. It has been tiring and grueling to say the least, and scaling up a startup company to this level takes incredible hard work, but the rewards, it seems, were worth it in the end. Austin Russell was even fortunate to retain a good enough stake in his company, which isn't common with most startups. Luminar's share prices surged 28% on Thursday, raising the value of Russell's 104.7 million shares to a total of $2.4 billion. It climbed even higher just the next day when Luminar surged 37% and made Russell $3.3 billion heading into the weekend. The listing in NASDAQ was announced in August, and it came from a merger with an SPAC company called Gores Metropolis Inc., a unit of a Beverly Hills-based finance firm. It raised Luminar's market value to $3.4 billion before it went public in December. Current investors in the company include Peter Thiel, Volvo Cars Tech Fund, and an unnamed billionaire on the Luminar board. Austin Russell even made it to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list at the age of 22, and in 2018, he said he wasn't interested in competing with other self-driving tech giants like Waymo or Cruise, but instead focused on perfecting Luminar's sensors. It doesn't hurt that the young billionaire has zero distractions from social media. Try looking him up on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and you'll find nothing. Unlike other 25-year-olds, he doesn't have to worry about the requirements of colleges and schools, but he does get his news from YouTube, explainer videos, and Wikipedia. He has a curious mind and learns the ins and outs of everything he needs to know. At the age of 2, when most people were learning to speak, Russell had memorized the entire periodic table. By age 10 or 11, he had started writing software and once wrote a firmware to turn his Nintendo into a phone because his parents wouldn't buy him one. You can't teach that kind of dedication. He also says it actually worked. Whether or not his parents found out, he hasn't told yet, but as he entered his teen years, he got a little bit more serious. At 13, he filed his first patent, an underground water recycling system that catches sprinkler water and saves it for future gardening to reduce waste. He then evolved into building computing systems, supercomputers, and other things based around hardware, before finding his love for lasers, optics, and photonics, which led him to starting his work on the LiDAR at the age of 14. He realized there was a whole new frontier in the field, and he wanted to be part of it. Needless to say, his parents were a little concerned, but they also knew they had a prodigy on their hands, because he had even built a research lab in their garage at the age of 11. As you do, I mean, that's pretty common, right? But the learning didn't end with science and technology. In fact, Russell's abilities extend way beyond the lab. He's on top of board meetings, always asking questions and leading discussions, much to the shock of board members who have been in the business for over 40 years. He studied up on SPAC so he could hold his own at these meetings. It's no surprise that as a founder, he managed to secure over 104 million shares of his own company. Being taken seriously at that young age is not easy, especially when you have an idea for a product whose industry doesn't even exist yet. But he managed to earn respect for himself by proving the worth of his idea and aligning himself with the right people. He said in an interview with CNBC, "The reality is that you just have to find the right supporters, the right people that ultimately believe in your vision and run with that." This new wealth has brought into question whether or not he has any plans for Bill Gates-like philanthropy. It seems at the time he has no agenda because he sees his contribution as eradicating car accidents on the roads with his technology. For now, his goal is to make his devices mainstream and integrated into every vehicle, ever manufactured anywhere in the world. When he succeeds in doing that, he might turn his interests elsewhere. And that's our newest, youngest, self-made billionaire in the world. If you've got a vision, go on, make it happen. You never know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video and check out the others on the King Luxury channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.